I'd say happy Monday, but those of you that follow me, you know, I don't like Mondays. I like this show. I like having all of you here. Well, I call Monday Second Sunday. So we're just going to go with that. We are going to go and just say that, Second Sunday, on we go. And today, as you may have seen in the in the thumbnail and all the footnote, the descriptions for this one, there's a lot. There's a lot to cover. There really is. Oh, there's been a lot going on, and a lot of things that have been brought to my attention that, I hadn't been covering before. And we're gonna get into a little bit. But the first thing I want to do is do a shout out to to a bunch of people that are here in the chat right now that I am quite impressed with their coverage of, in particular, a case that I've been covering for a while, which is the Steven Avery from the Memphis Three in the wrongful convictions in this group. And let me just call them the foul play group because that is the channel, the largest part of the channel that I follow, although many of them have their own channels. Some of you may be familiar with Just Rhonda and Alice in Conviction Land, who many of my murder minions here, that's what I call the people who follow my murder cases and my true crime. Many of you met them when I followed, when I was doing Depp versus Heard with Ranty. And we met Alice and Just Rhonda over there. And our eyes were open to a whole nother group over at Foul Play, which I have to say the coverage of Steven Avery in particular has been outstanding. So a shout out to Jack and Susan, who are also in the chat, and to two of their other compadres who are part of their team that do excellent, excellent work. And that would be Jeff Jones, and I believe Dr. Silkman. I always want to say Silverman, but it's Silkman. Okay. And I have linked several links in the description because we are going to talk about Steven Avery right now, but I'm only going to do it briefly because, hey, I know a good thing when I see it. And their coverage was so outstanding. I can't touch it. They did a read on the document. They go over all of the evidence, more evidence than I could possibly hold in my drive with my little potato here. So I'm going to do the right thing and refer you to those that are doing so much better and dedicating all of their time. And, they're thanking me for the shout out, but I'm telling you, they damn well deserve it. They knocked this bear's socks off, like right off. They did with all of this. Outstanding damn job. I'm honored that they even know who I am when I show up in the chat because the attention that they're putting on it, the well-deserved attention that they are putting on it. For I'll be a little biased here after reading everything, mostly their coverage or looking at the documentation they pulled together. They got a DNA expert over there. I am not kidding when I tell you thorough, dedicated, really getting into every part of the case. They've got the calls, they've got all of the documentation, all of the evidence that they can, and recently did the coverage, as I'm going to pull up, on Kathleen Zelhner's third motion to try to get the new evidence put in there and a look at the old evidence. Freaking fantastic. I can't say it enough. And I'm not blowing smoke, guys. Like, I mean every word. Like, this is on YouTube. It's immortalized. Like, I don't take shit down. This is it. I really think they did that great a job. Okay, so I'm not even going to try to compete. But what I will say, I am going to pull up Zelhner now and say for the legal part, I'm going to start with them because they are all here in the chat. And I don't want to hold them up if they have things to do. But definitely outstanding. Check them all out. And thank you guys for always making me welcome over there. I really, really appreciate it. Well, let us look at what Kathleen had to say. And I'm not going to go into great details, but actually, I will say this about this motion. First of all, we know that there were other motions followed. If you've been following Steven Avery at all, the case at all, and everything, they're kind of saying that they can come forward, and we're going to try to get everything turned over, that he's wrongfully still being convicted on this. Okay. This third motion, and there were others, is done differently. That I will say. If you've been following it, you will notice that Kathleen Zelhner, she's pulling no punches this time. And I can show you that without going into great detail, just by even showing, let me just pull up our contents here. First of all, you all know that Kathleen Zelhner is an excellent attorney anyway. And I love the way she writes. Her direct, to the point briefs are always spot on. She gets an angle, she holds on to it. The purpose of a motion, just to be brief, okay, with you guys. Yeah, emotions are brief. I get the play on words there. Yeah. Well, it just is to actually help the court understand exactly where you're going and where they should be applying the law, or where you believe the law is actually in your favor for what you're trying to prove and what you want them to look at. Give them something to hold on to. And that is so important in an appeal. And I think that Jack and the rest of them will agree with me. When it comes to an appeal, okay, what you actually need to do is you got to put teeth in it, that, something that they can actually hold on to and go with, because it's not easy. No one wants to backstep. Okay, no one wants to backstep, and you really got to pull it in, like Jack said in the chat there. It's tight, and that's what Kathleen Zelhner did. She pulled it tight. Not only does she go over all of the evidence in wrongful, she doesn't really make a big, when it's important and there's law to support it and there's no doubt, she doesn't make speculation. She doesn't say, oh, the cops did this wrong. Oh, they did that wrong. She don't do that. She says point blank, this evidence was found after the fact here, can't be used for here. This, you got to look at this here. Someone else was involved over there. This doesn't count because of this. That's how she laid it out. And Foul Play has made a link for the actual motion itself, which I included down there, because sly little bear that I am, I could have gave you my own link, but I want you to go to their channel and check it out. So Jack, I used your link. Sorry, boo. But yeah, because that way they get over there and they see what you got going on over there, which is totally awesome. And I hope that's okay with you. Well, I want you guys to check out, if you like to read legal, I want you to check out the motion itself. I don't want to go into details because, like I said, I would be repeating the great work that Foul Play has already done in the last couple of weeks, reading it and actually analyzing and showing you the evidence and showing you why some things are said, because they actually have the information from before. So just this table of contents, let's go, because I don't want to bore you with the rest. I could talk it all. She's going to cover when you get into it. She goes over the third-party suspects. She names other people that just as much suspicion could be on that are not there. She goes over the verdict and how it was there and some of the undue process that was there. She goes over the post-conviction in the direct appeal. She goes over all the stuff with the appellate court and the petition for review. Okay, then she gets into what we need for an appeal, which needs to be executed to precision. And in my opinion, and I think Jack and crew, Rhonda, Alice, Susan, the doctor, and Jeff all agree that this was executed very, very well. She goes over all of the new evidence, all of the new witness stuff, everything down the line. She lays it out for them. She makes it simple for them to grab hold of it and really do something about it. And that was the impressive part of this. This was a very, very good read. As you'll see, she goes into each individual part separate. She makes it really easy for them. Okay. And with each part, okay, she definitely actually brings up enough law, which is the other part. She actually brings up enough precedent and already settled law that backs up every point that she's making. That is perfect legal procedure. That is the perfect way to do it. I can't tell you how you could hear it in my voice how impressed I was with this. Okay, I am definitely. Yup. She wrapped it all nice in a little box with a bow. Rhonda, that's the perfect way to put it. She put a bow on it and she said, here it is. Just all you have to do is this, because this is the whole thing, like right there. Okay. And they're calling for a new evidentiary hearing, which I believe will be, I'm hoping, and as you all are, that there's going to be really, really good news related to this filing. When they actually weigh in on this one, it's going to be great. But that was the first thing I wanted to talk about today. And in the link, below, you're going to find a link to the Foul Play channel. You're going to find some of the more pertinent things they do that Dr. Silkman and Jeff Jones has done a presentation. Dr. Silkman has a channel there. He's the expert. I believe, do I have it right, that Dr. Silkman is actually your DNA type expert that actually helps with the evidence? If I am misspeaking, please correct me, because I don't want the wrong information out there. But thank you. Yep. Thank you all for the work that you're doing on the Avery case. You're making it so much fun. Yeah, thank you, Jack. It is Dr. Silkman. And I found all of that information. If you like this case, I don't do that often. I like to cover things like my own way, but I'm telling you, I couldn't do it better. I couldn't touch it. I could not touch it better. They got a team over there. And no, I don't think you're addicted or obsessed. I think that, you know what? The work that you're doing is necessary for Steven Avery, for people to understand this case and how involved it is and how many things went wrong from the start. It's horrific. I love the law. I do. That's why I do this show. Everybody knows my passion, how I speak about it. I love these little angles, these little quirks, these little things. But this case, I've hung on to this case all along, the same as you guys, because what happened was horrific. It doesn't sit with me at all. None of it. And none of it from day one, how it's been handled since. I understand why you've got such a perfect little group there. I'm with you. I am with you totally. And I applaud you for your dedication. You're not getting paid for this. Nobody's floating the bill for this. This is something you guys all have just as much passion for, and I applaud you. I really do. So on that, I've got a lot to cover today. So for all of the nuts and bolts, you want to get into the real detail of that Avery filing by Kathleen Zelhner, hit that channel. Okay, definitely hit Foul Play or speak with Rhonda, speak with Alice. They're lovely to speak to. I have not had the chance to speak with Susan, but I have seen her up on there and in the chats and talking. Jeff Jones also and Dr. Silkman just here. I'm telling you. All right, so let's move on. Yeah, because, it's second Sunday, not Monday. Could be Monday. I mean, it probably felt like pretty bad for the other people I'm going to talk about today. The other really big thing that some of you may be here for is I get a lot of requests to talk about the mob. I don't know. Is it because I'm from New Jersey? I don't know. Maybe y'all have the wrong idea about me. I know I talk funny, but I'm not mobbed up. I'm not. I swear. I get mad. I yell a lot. I talk a little rough. But I'm not mob connected. But what I am is fascinated by the Whitey Bulger case. Okay, Whitey Bulger was Massachusetts connected mobster who, well, let's just say he ran away from the law for a very long time. He was involved in a lot of stuff. I mean, I can't even say lot of enough as far as what Whitey was involved with. Okay, but Whitey also, he ran away. They finally got him. He was an FBI informant for a long time. So not only was he running away from the law, he was running away from the mob for years. And very late in life, he finally did way back prior to 2018, he did finally get convicted. He convicted of his crimes. And he was at that time in jail in 2018. The 89-year-old Bulger, who was actually a Boston gangster, James Whitey Bulger, was in prison and was murdered in October of 2018 at a maximum security facility in West Virginia. Yeah, that happened. And it's taken all this time, but all these years later, they are finally indicting the 3 men that they do believe did it, even though it's a maximum security prison. So there's cameras everywhere and there's everybody. They had a pretty good idea. I'm thinking from the start, who did this? Like, I can't imagine they didn't. Really, seriously. No, I can't. I mean, Yeah, I'm going to make a little fun here, but come on. I mean, they probably just use this instance to push them and get some information or whatever. But I can't imagine that it really took 3 years to indict already convicted killers of killing. I mean, hmm, hmm. Yeah, there's a great documentary, Jax, a great one. Yeah. But anyway, they found him beaten to death very roughly in that maximum security facility in West Virginia. And at the time, these three men, and here's the pronunciation of the day. Remember, it's Monday. But Fortius Gaius, 55 years old, Paul C. D. Colligero, 48-year-old Sean, he's 48, and Sean McKinnon, who is 36. They're all charged with conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The justice is like, they're not even still saying that they did it, but they're just saying conspiracy. Okay. Way back in 2011 is when Bulger was actually caught. And I got to tell you, it took 16 years to catch him. 16 years it took. I mean, the Whitey story is fascinating on his own. And I might do something separate about that at some day, just because y'all reminded me of it with this case. Okay, well, with this coming forward, just because they've reminded me, and it is quite the case. There's plenty of documentaries out there, but it might be fun for you all to talk about. We'll talk about that later. But Whitey, at the time of his demise, was serving 2 life sentences for 11 murders when he suffered the same. And he actually was murdered on the same day that he was transferred to that Hazleton Penitentiary in West Virginia, which it has about 1,300 inmates, I believe. Okay. These charges were announced just last week. All right. They have also the federal prosecutors are accusing Gaius and DiColagero of striking Bulger in the head multiple times. So they're saying conspiracy to commit murder and also assault to commit murder is in the charges. They are accusing him of actually multiple trauma causing his death. They've also both been charged with aiding and abetting first-degree murder along with assault resulting in serious bodily injury. Okay, Gaius in particular is believed to be a mafia hitman, and he faces an additional charge for murder by federal inmates serving a life sentence, while McKinnon has been charged with making false statements to the federal agents. Okay, all three were held at the time at that same Hazleton Penitentiary. Okay, but only Gaius is the one who remains there. The other two have been transferred out. Okay. A little more on Bulger, the victim here. He was the former leader, quote unquote, of South Boston's Winter Hill Gang, big mob gang there, inspired in the film Black Mass. You might be wondering about that. And hello, Johnny Depp. He was in that one. Yes, he was in Black Mass. Okay. The Departed, that I do believe that one, The Departed, did that have Leo DiCaprio in it anyway? That one actually won an Academy Award, but these were all based in loosely and around the Whitey Bulger story. Okay, Whitey, and I'm speaking for the victim here because he's tantalizing, and I usually do speak to the victim in accused cases anyway. But this victim was raised Boston Irish Catholic in a South Boston neighborhood, and he became involved with the quote unquote Shamrocks gang. And I'm using quotes here because I'm not saying these things exist, because gangs and stuff. As a young man, he started off just stealing, like some gangsters, just stealing cars, and escalated to robbing banks and got all official, so to speak, in his mobdom. While heading the Irish American Winter Hill mob in the 70s until like the 80s, he kind of lived a double life as a prized FBI informant the whole dang time. Now that's the hook right there. The whole time. Yeah. He was feeding the FBI information about rival crime families. He thought he was clever, that he would just like report on the other guys so that his enterprise could take off while they had a hell of a mess to deal with. But it really didn't work out in his favor. Although he did carry that long, he did carry it for quite some time, I must say. Okay. Well, the U.S. government eventually, they say, paid more than $20 million in damages to his victims on the grounds he had committed his murders and other crimes while he still ran his mob group while under government supervision. Now, this is true. He was an FBI informant still involved in criminal enterprise the whole time. People took exception to that, and that's another interesting part of this case. That you can't, that to me also, like, hey, y'all know he's out there and he's organizing murders, and just because he's giving you information, like nothing's happening. Yeah, that was a little. I mean, I do realize that law enforcement has to do some things in order to keep law and order. I get it. But something like this, I mean, there was a lot of people that lost their lives or were wronged while he was under protection. And while he was under protection means nobody could press charges on him. Nobody picked him up and threw him in jail. Like, he had a card. He had a get out of jail free card, so to speak, while he was an FBI informant. And some things about that need to be looked into and changed. And I think you might all agree that doesn't sit well with the average citizen. That's allowed to happen. We try to wrap our brains around it as to why it might be necessary, that there's a bigger evil. But he was a rival gangster. He is the same equal evil as the guys he was reporting on, doing the same kind of crimes. I mean, everything that he was doing, he was giving them information to put cases on others. But they were equal. It wasn't it wasn't like he robbed a candy store and he's giving evidence against, like some big fraud to get out of it. It wasn't like that. It wasn't mismatched or imbalanced. It was equal to equal. And I got an issue with that, because on the one hand, you're saying, this is wrong for them to do what they're doing, and we're going to hold them to task, and we're going to put the law on them. But, oh, hey, you're doing us a favor to help us with that, so the law doesn't apply to you. Well, the law does. And the law did catch up with Whitey Bulger in an actual karmic way. I must say that he didn't last very long, did he? Once he finally got anywhere into the legal system. When they finally did get him, and he was running on a manhunt for 11 years when he decided not to be an FBI informant anymore because the mob was onto him. He went undercover, he went into the dark because the mob was after him and the FBI was after him. They knew they were going to turn charges because he was going to stop telling them information. He made his bed. Then he had to run away and hide from it for 11 years before they caught him. They tried him for the crimes that they knew that he committed, and they sent him to jail. And then fellow mobsters from wherever allegedly murdered him. And 3 years later, I can't believe it took 3 years. This is the part that gets me. It took 3 years. Took 3 years, but they have now finally put the charges on 3 people that were there that supposedly did the crime. I'm sure they have plenty of evidence. It's not like these guys are going anywhere. They are all in jail for even larger, similar crimes anyway. But that is my interesting take on Whitey Bulger for today. That's number 2 for today, for our interesting day. Let me pull up this chat. And welcome to everybody just coming in. I haven't been able to say hi. Hey, Mandy, I see, welcome. I see Autistic Shield has come in, and Aaron, thank you, mods, for being here. I appreciate it. And I hope you're entertained also. Hey, Sean, it's so nice to see you. And Jin, and Dark Side of the Moon. Hey, welcome. I have to tell you, over in the Foul Play Discord, Dark Side of the Moon was so welcoming and helping me get my, finding my acclimation there. And over in the chats, she's a wonderful mod. Thank you for being always so welcome in everything. I really appreciate it. You weren't here. I didn't see you when I was shouting out everybody from the team, or I definitely would have mentioned you too. It's like, hey, Ginger, how are you? Liam, good to see you. If I've missed anyone, please don't feel slighted. I'm going down the chat fast. I'm trying to actually find any questions that you might have about Mr. Bulger. Oh, not too great a detail, but about like the charges. Well, let's see. Hey, Sandy, how are you? You don't have to stay in the Lurkers Lounge. Sandy, please, make no mistake. You're always welcome. Don't worry there. Anyway, always welcome in the chat. There you go. Yes, I know you love Doc. I know you love Doc. Just Rhonda, I can't blame you. She's absolutely excellent. Yeah. It is a very interesting case, Jack. It really is. Yeah, I keep saying allegedly. I have to say that more often, don't I, just Rhonda? I have to say, but it's kind of hard with the mobsters, right? Like, because like they do everything like right out there in the open and they just dare you to catch them, you know? I don't know. All right. So I don't actually see questions. Let's see. Okay. So, okay. I'm going to go on to the next one. Yeah. Darkseid, they rock. They rock. They absolutely do. They absolutely do. I'll just put that up for prosperity here. Like, yep. There we go. For prosperity, YouTube. I'm telling all of YouTube about it. Okay, here we go. Sean, is the shipment of what, or is that under Stitch's area? I'm not. Is that for me? Oh, here about yes, Damien has also, thank you, Mandy. We can mention this, that Damien Echols has been posting updates about his case on Twitter, sending positive juju. The judge will allow the DNA testing, and the West Memphis 3 need to be fully exonerated. That's right, all of them. I've been concentrating on my focus on Steven Avery being the oldest, and I think being the one that they hit the hardest about this, especially based on how he was charged and on his conviction. The difference is there. But yeah, all three. It is a very interesting case. All three of them, the Memphis 3, and all wrongfully convicted. I agree. I totally agree. I hope you do get that laptop all sorted out today, Autistic. Okay. The next thing that I have for you is something brought to my attention by someone who watches the channel and just hit me up in the in my DMs on the back of a video. Okay, and it involves a case that from 2011. The conviction happened in 2011. The actual case itself started around 2008. Well, apparently the case involves Anthony Waiters. Anthony Waiters in California. He was convicted of torturing a young man by the name of Kyle for over a year. Literally beat him, tortured him, had him shackled to a bed, kept him in prison, dirty, unclean, unfed, merciless for a year. Anthony Waiters was arrested in his workplace in Pleasantown in about 2008, and he was put on trial, and he was convicted in 2011. For an 18-year sentence on this boy. But recently in March, he was, after serving 11 years, he was granted parole by the parole board for being an exemplary student, prisoner, not having anything, stir up while he was in there. But the outcry, even from Governor Newsom in California, was immediate and fierce. The DA went right at them. The people of the town, the area, everyone went right at them. They then, in August, this August, just recently, around the 16th, they had an enclave, one of those hearings where they're going to say when they let him out and what he's got to do and all. And during that one, there had been, in the response, period of time. So much response, statements written, people requesting to speak at the hearing. So much came across the governors and the parole board, the prison system itself, that they just couldn't do it. They actually have ordered a rescission hearing. And a rescission hearing is one where they're going to actually look at the fact on whether or not the parole board had acted appropriately. I have linked below actually articles that you can actually pull up the enclave and learn more about a rescission hearing. But basically what they're going to do is there's either going to be evidence as to why they shouldn't release him, presented either some new situation that him, and or they're going to review exactly what the parole board did and try to see if it was all in line, everything was taken into consideration. But it is, for me, I have never seen a community come out against somebody as strong as I did. I mean, the DA actually showed up and spoke themselves. The guardians for Kyle spoke. There are two sides to every story, and I will, give some play to the other side. His brother actually showed up and said, he served 11 years. He hasn't done enough. He hasn't done anything in the meantime. But the problem is that the crime itself was so horrific, and this is what people are saying, that this man held no mercy for Kyle for a whole year. He was young. He was taken advantage of. He was held shackled, and through no fault of his own. This was torturous. This was like a bug under a glass kind of thing. Kyle had no power whatsoever. This man had it all. He showed no grace. He showed the worst and most evil side of himself. Now, I will admit, he has been convicted. He is paying for his crime. He has served 11 years. Their point is, he only got 18. He ain't in there for life. Okay? He should serve it all. He should be given the same amount of grace he gave Kyle, which was none. Like, he was sentenced and he needs to serve it all. And, I kind of agree with them there, because I don't want to say that he hasn't reformed. I am hoping that he did. That's the world I want to live in, that when we do hold somebody to task for what they do wrong, that they learn from it and start doing right. I mean, don't we all? I mean, yeah, that's the legal system that we live in. And it's the one that I want to see work. When it works the best, that is the best outcome, Juju B, he is in his late 40s currently, I believe. And his sentence was 18 years, and they are trying to let him out at 11, I didn't know much about this case either. I have linked the first article with the name and enough information for all of my murder minions to carry on any way they want. I'm also going to find out more and put it in the Discord for all of you that are interested. But yeah, I didn't mean to sidetrack out there, but as long as law and order, what's going on, absolutely, if he is paying for what he did, yes, I agree, he's in there. But why do we have to let him out early? Because he's saying that he's sorry for what he did. Like, sometimes sorry isn't sorry enough. We do have to take the victim's family and the victim who is alive and out there and dealing with this every day. Let us not forget Kyle. Okay, how do you think Kyle is going to feel about what was done to him when we say, okay, you only have to serve this much of it? Like, we didn't mean you get 18 years. We're going to let you have less just because you say. Okay, I think they have to prove it more than just not causing trouble in the jail. I mean, a wise person wouldn't cause trouble in the jail. It's jail. You're in there for your penance. Of course you're going to behave. All right? But just because you don't think he's going to be in immediate danger, his depravity, okay, the depravity of the crime should weigh in. And I think that's their point here. And I can actually say I could see part of it. I don't want to act like it's vengeance. I don't think it is. I think this is justice. Now, there's two sides of that, and some people will disagree with me and say he's already served so much of his time. That's the justice part. If you start looking at it harsher, that's vengeance. No, it's not. Because this is my point on that. I would say no. Don't go there, because 18 years is 18 years. That is what the penal code gave him. 18 years. I see no harm or no vengeance in requiring that man to stay his 18 years and then get out. I see no justification in giving the man grace. Not allowing grace is not vengeance. I just want him to serve the time that he was given, because I think that's the respect that needs to be given to Kyle. Because let us not forget Kyle. Okay? I don't want to make, in a reformed society, the prisoner the main focus, because they are always tied together forever and must be balanced 50-50. I want reform for the prisoner, but I will not negate the victim. I'm not going to take away from the victim to give the actual persecutor a leg up. It's not going to happen. All right? When you're given 18 years, you know what? Sorry, boo. Sit there. That's my take on it. All right? You know what, Liam? Thank you for that. Thank you for that. That means a lot, Liam, because you and I both believe that people should be reformed. And we've had these conversations about prisoners and reform, you know. Yes, they did always create full. They had that N Bank hearing on the 16th. And during that hearing, they decided, whoop, we need a rescission hearing. Like, there's too much outcry. We can't do this. Okay. Yes, if I wasn't more clear, that was the date on August 16th, and the filings are available. But yeah, they just came right out and said that there would be another hearing. And that hearing, actually, the rescission hearing, is not going to be for another 4 to 6 months. And he needs to sit in there. He needs to sit in there while he waits. Okay. You know, and I agree, Recker. 18 years is nothing for torturing a kid for a whole year. Chained, shackled, the condition of this child, the bruises, the sores, heartbreaking. And he got out and he walked himself into the police. If you look into the case, this broken child walked himself into the police station to report this when he got away. Horrific, absolutely horrific case. Okay. Aaron says they should have to attend a certain number of psychological appointments in prison and then get a sign off. I'm not sure if that happened. I would hope that it did, because I agree with you, Aaron. How do they say just because you didn't cause any trouble that you're reformed? I'm sure there's a whole process, and I'm going to look more into that. I will honestly say that I'm not as familiar as I should be to speak on it, so I won't. But I would agree with you that it should happen. I'm not going to say it doesn't. I think that makes common sense, and I would be surprised if it's not a part of the actual situation. Okay. Yep. By multiple psychologists, right, Juju? Because we learned even in the Amber Heard trial, I learned that psychologists could come from things from totally different angle, just like everybody else, and they could have totally different opinions about people and what they're going through. You know, at this point, we'd have to shift the military budget to the prison system to clean up the mess that it is. I agree. It is a bit of a mess. I still have great respect for it. I think it's trying. I really do. I see great effort all the time. Yeah. Yep, I do. But I also agree that there are many things that go wrong, and it needs to be taken care of them. You know, yes, just Rhonda, it is a little bit like the Turpins in Southern California. This is a California case also, very much in that county there, in Jacquin County, if I said that properly. But yeah, Jujubee, yes, you would like a full breakdown. You want a post review? I do post reviews. Yeah, I'll go over the post conviction on this case. I'll find everything I can. And yeah, and Jujubee, maybe you'd like to join me for that one. Think about it, love. You like this stuff too, maybe. Okay. Yep, the Turpins are in prison for life if anybody wants to, and rightly they should be. That was a horrific case also. Yeah, I agree. Always grateful. I agree. Just hearing some of the torture that child went through is enough to say, I'm sorry, 18 years, that's what you got? Yes, you're going to have to sit there. I'm sorry, you know. The law, the law has its process, and they followed it, and they convicted him. Yeah, Joaquin, thank you. Thank you, Jasrada. Joaquin County. California is where this is being put for parole, and that is the prison there that they're going to be going. The parole board there is actually going to be affecting it, and the Governor Newsom is very involved with this. He's getting mail on this like wildfire. I do believe strongly in this enough. After I looked into it, I did put it on my community tab, and at the bottom of what I said about it, there is an email link for anybody that wants to weigh in. Or look for more information. There's a way to contact Joaquin County, the prison system that is actually dealing with this issue, if you would like. And also you can go through the governor's office. Governor Newsom, yeah, he is being bombarded, but hey, he says he's reading them all. So if you're so inclined, that would be the way to weigh in on that. Well, but thanks. Yep. Oh, you're a SoCal girl. Hey, just Rhonda. Cool. Yeah. That's kind of, hey, Grace Case, welcome. Hey, Martin. Nice to see you here. Okay, so, oh boy, that was a long 46 minutes. We're going to go a little bit long today because, guess what's next? The other thing that I have for you today. Yeah. The other thing that I have for you today is on Scientology. Yep. That's it. We're going to talk. Yeah, it gets messier. I'm a little, this one's going to be a little rough for me because I'm a little both ways on this one about the Scientology, because here's the thing. Amicus briefs have been filed. Okay. For anyone who needs just a little brief on what an amicus brief is, it is a way for a person not involved in the case. In other words, this wasn't filed by Scientology, nor was it filed by the Bixler victims or any other victims in the civil cases against Scientology for prosecutions that are happening in the Masterson case and also in the Bixler case. Okay. Right now, Scientology wants to bring forward to our federal Supreme Court. They've already gone through their local Supreme Court and were denied. Okay. Actually using the issue that they wanted to overturn everything, which was they are trying to say that we're interfering with their religious practice and religious contracts, that they have a right to hold their members to a religious contract. Now, if you'll remember the Supreme Court ruling, the local one, they did not say that. Okay. And Tony Ortega, which I linked below, had a wonderful layout of the whole thing. And I'm just going to briefly go over the same points that he did, because I agree with them 100%. All throughout their ruling, they did not say they were talking about the contract of their ability to have a contract with their members, current members, people involved in the religion, in the church. If you were a Scientologist in there, okay, that was cool. That contract, that is a different issue. What they were saying is that once people left the church, ex-members, they were not allowed to make them stay silent. That what they did afterwards was harassment and all of that, but that contract cannot be applied to them. Even if you say they signed like that billion-year kind of thing, can't be held. That contract has to become, nope, doesn't exist, because you can't put someone on a billion-year contract. Okay, they always have the right to walk away from a contract, whether legally or illegally. They have the right to disavow from a contract. Okay, they walk. Okay, and that is what the court was trying to say. You're trying to apply current member rules on ex-members. Okay. Yes. So, the part that is so damn interesting about this is who is filing these charges. I mean, the amicus briefs. All right, they are well laid out, and I've linked the article, which links to the briefs below, so you can read them for yourself. But they are actually being filed by some heavy hitters. Okay, let me just get the names. They are professors and also the leader of a different. Okay, the first one is being filed by the Professor Broyd and Colombo. Okay, both philosophers. One of them is a writer of religious papers and books. They get into the doctrine pretty well. They are very big on religious freedoms, and they write articles often. Okay, and they put out a pretty good stance there. Trying very hard. The other one is the brief. Let me get their name right. I don't want to mess up the organization's name. The second one is, okay. The first one is by Professor Michael Broyd and Ronald J. Colombo. They're both very certified, and as I said, in religious articles of religious freedoms. They speak well on it. Okay, and the scary part is that they're coming down hard with a lot of precedent. They did a lot of research and they're going back, but what they're ignoring is the fact that we're talking about ex-members. And I want to stress that a lot. Tony Ortega does a lot in his article also, which I implore you to read because he makes some valid points. The Supreme Court did not say anything about current members. This is not actually a filing against religious freedoms. We're not saying Scientology can't exist. And they're trying to gaslight the Supreme Court into believing that's what the lower court said. The lower court did not. 3 or 4 times throughout their actual statement, they repeat repeatedly that it is only in regards to the fact that these are ex-members, people who left the church. And anyway, Liam's right. You cannot execute a contract on anyone that makes them act in an illegal manner, right? I mean, come on. That's contract 101. That's contract law 101. You are not beholden to a contract which asks you to ignore or not report a crime. It's illegal to obstruct justice. Okay? You can't. Okay? That's what I mean, Liam. Oh, they are actually saying that parts of it could be illegal. Like, I mean, come on, $1 billion contract? How do you actually contract up somebody's free will like that? And I'm telling you, I agree. It's messy. It's definitely messy. The second one, as I was getting the name of those people and it just went right by me. The second one is actually put in by the Church Law Institute. Church Law Institute. Okay. In support of the petitioners, aka Scientology. Their lawyers that they contracted will come up here, and this is the question that they presented in their amicus brief. Where a parishioner freely executes a religious arbitration agreement with her church, does the First Amendment prohibit enforcement of the agreement if the parishioner leaves the faith? Does the First Amendment restrict the terms on which a church may accept members into its faith? In other words, they're trying to actually say it's not up to the member whether they're an ex-member or not. It's up to the church. And I call bollocks on that one. Like, that's overstepping. Hello. Whoa. Have your religious belief. I'm all for it. Everybody do your thing. Okay? But don't put it like, what are they? Laying claims on you forever for life? Like, is that the mob? Like, that's mob mentality. And don't they go to jail for that? Once you're in, you're in. Like, what? They go to jail for that. Why? Just because you call it a religion, are you not allowed to think the same? Like, what? Come on. Really? No. What about free will? You cannot hold anybody against their will. Isn't that entrapment? Or what's the other one? Kidnapping? Or held against their will? In slavery? Like, I could go on. I mean, I could get crazy about it, but I won't. I think you all see the legal issue here. And the legal issue is it's not upheld. You can't uphold it. And to try to throw the First Amendment at it, like religious freedom, like we're trying to actually hold you back because we don't want you to damage individuals against their will. That's something. That's something. Let me tell you, Scientology, well, they've got stones. I'll tell you that. They really do. They do have some stones going at the Supreme Court with this. And I'm holding my breath. just that SCOTUS will actually look at the legal implications of this actual ruling. Because if they let this one go, if they let themselves be gaslit into believing that it's actually interfering with religious freedom to let ex members act accordingly with the law, well, then SCOTUS has no respect for the damn law. There, I said it. There. And like, SCOTUS, I thought you were the law. Like, come on. It's your chance to prove you're the damn law. You are. Like, don't let this happen. Seriously. That would be scary. Scary. Like, hey, SCOTUS, lawyers, judges. Scientology is a religion. A religion doesn't get to oppress. Okay? You're supposed to be against that. So come on. This First Amendment thing, this is gaslighting. Please read between the lines. And I know you don't hear me, but hey, I have to say it out loud or I'd blow up. You know, nobody wants a blown up bear all over the place. Damn messy. Damn messy. But anyway, I digress. Hey, yes. Yeah. Hey, Randy, welcome. I'm gonna put your camera up. Yep. Somehow people were convinced that beliefs are above criticism. Non-ideas or beliefs are above criticism, not even Scientology's. I'm with you, Randy. Can I just say hell to the yeah for that? Believe what you want. Oppress me about it? Hell no. Hell no. You don't get to oppress me or your members about it. And especially your members that want to leave. All right? And if it's illegal, what you're asking them to do anyway, then where are you coming from with this? Don't hide behind First Amendment religious freedom. That's chicken. Come on. You're gaslighting. You're throwing smoke all over the real issue here that you just want to be able to do whatever you want above the law. Is religion above the law? Is that what they're trying to tell us? That religion is above the law? Well, I don't think so. Sorry. I want you to have religious freedom. I do. Do I think you're above the law to be able to do it? Hell no. You cannot marry minors. You cannot murder people. And you cannot prevent people from reporting crimes. All of those things are illegal and against the law in our country. And I'm sorry, here, no. Just because it's part of your religious doctrine doesn't mean you get to do it. It doesn't work that way. What kind of society would that be? Really, seriously. I know, just Rhonda, isn't it? You know, it is definitely what they want us to do. I know. Hey, I know I'd be foolish, right? Where did that just go? It just jumped. Aaron, you had a great comment. I'm coming back for it. Don't go placing bets on SCOTUS right now. Theranos was a better. Hey, come on. Like, please let me sleep at night, Aaron. I'm going to have to hope that because they're actually the law, they will recognize the law here. I mean, I see it. You see it, right? You guys see it. It would be untenable if they let that go. If they let that go. I have found that if people get upset or angered that their beliefs are being questioned, then they aren't as firm in those beliefs as they claim. You have a valid point there, Juju. Thank you for pointing it out. Having to hide behind the First Amendment as if they're not allowed to say or practice what they want is bollocks. Let's just call it what it is. It's a punk move. Scientology, I expected better. You're falling down on your game here because you just don't want us to talk about it. You don't want anybody to look at it. You don't want anybody to actually make you stand up for what you're doing. You want to say foul and throw us out of the game. Chicken. That's not fair. I hope SCOTUS sees it that way too. That is definitely my opinion on that. Definitely. So tell me more how you guys are looking at this. I mean, am I wrong? I mean, this is gaslighting, right? I mean, that's what Tony Ortega has pretty much laid that out, pointing clearly to several parts of the predetermination by the other Supreme Court, which clearly said it wasn't about current membership. It wasn't about practicing your religious freedom. It was about putting claims on people once they were free from you and actually reporting something that happened to them, and that you don't have, and that they are actually doing illegal things to try to hold people to a contract. Not right. Not right. Not right. Mm-mm. Mm. Mm. Yep. That's exactly what Scientologists want to shove into people's minds. Exactly. Don't look at this. Just look at this over here. It's a first. We have the right. Yes, you do. You have the right to organize and have your religion, and as long as it's not breaking a law, you can do that. But if somebody wants to walk away from you, why? What law is there in your religion? You wrote one. You said they're there for $1 billion, and once you're in, you're in. Kind of. I say again, kind of a little mob like the whole theme, a little bit of theme of that today. But Scientology, you're not the mob. Come on, you're a religious organization. Aren't you supposed to do better? They should have free will. And don't you want your members to want to be there? Like, what do you need $1 billion contract for? $1 billion year contract? You got to sign them up for life because they might wake up someday? Are you making it difficult on purpose, maybe? Yeah. That's the difference between, like, you see, a true religion doesn't need $1 billion year contract. Oh, a cult might. Oh, wait, did I say that? Yes, I did. Because I can't believe that Scientology has a religious status in our country. I can't believe they qualify for that because they act like a cult. They act like a damn MLM, an illegal organization to make money off the backs of the laborers of the people who participate in it. Oh, hello? But we allowed them to become a religion because a science fiction writer wrote a book. Oh, hell. Yeah, I said it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. That's how I feel about it. Sorry. And I'm not sorry, actually. That's the truth. They're falling under this religion thing, and I would actually know what I would really, in a perfect world, what would happen is that SCOTUS would actually weigh in and say, nope, that's not the legal precedent here. The legal is like these ex-members are free to do as they will, and you can't arbitrate on them. You can't hold them to a contract once they are not a member. They get to decide, not you, that they're an ex-member, that they walked away. That exists, and that separation is there. And then I'd like them to put a recommendation in for us to reevaluate on whether Scientology is a true religion, or whether they are actually breaking the law by being just a formed cult of an MLN that's just doing stuff to make money off everybody else's backs. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be a nice world? Well, I'm dreaming, after all, it's second Sunday, and I hate Mondays, and you'll have to give me a pass on that one. Well, anyway. Oh, let's see what's going on in here. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry you missed it, Martin, but there's replay. Yep, we talked about Whitey Bulger. Yes, but we actually didn't really talk about his case too much. We talked about his demise and how they finally have indicted the 3 men responsible. 3 years later, even though they were all in prison at the time. I mean, they kind of knew from the start who was involved. But hey, 3 years. I guess they wanted to do the right thing. Okay. Randy says it's religious privilege. Any other type of organization would not be right. They wouldn't be permitted to do this. Like, okay, so I was a waitress once, and I decided not to have that job anymore, but I have to forever tote the rules and regulations of an employee of Taco Bell. I have to sing their praises and whatever is in that little employee contract. Hell no. If you're gone, you're gone. If you walk away, you walk away. And unless there's something that you have to do in regards to that contract, like settling a debt, or there's something actually in there about the separation clause, there's things like covenant not to compete. If you know what that is, that means you're not allowed to get into the same exact business of something, or you're not allowed to speak on this. There's NDAs, non-disclosure agreement, all of that legal stuff. That could all be part of a separation. But the truth is, you still get to separate. You get to say, I'm not going to be over there anymore. To not have to, for them to try to legally say that a Scientologist member never gets to call themselves X unless Scientology says they're X, it's beyond me. It's beyond me. I'm telling you. Yep. So, okay, I'm going to take Aaron's advice and not put any bets on SCOTUS because it does scare me. I am a little bit worried there. Mhm. In Juju, I think the SCOTUS ruling will say a lot, and I hope we want to hear it. I hope I can actually read it. I promise to bring it forth and try to read it the best I can, regardless of the outcome. But I'm hoping I can actually get the words out, and that it's not something that I'll be using a lot of tissues and crying about while I do it on stream. Yeah, I jest about it, but that's how I get rid of stress. Sorry, guys. But yeah, it does make me nervous. Like, it really does. Yes, very. Because if they allow this country, we'll lose all religious freedom. And that's the thing. By putting Scientology's absolutely abhorrent contract and saying that that's okay, they will actually lose religious freedoms everywhere. Everywhere. Okay, that's true, Sean. They can't go all one way, because then it's going to swing back the other way against them and be harmful. And we don't want to do that. We absolutely don't want to do that. We are not against anybody practicing their religion. And if you want to be part of organized religion, fine, that's it. But you don't get to break the law to do it. You just don't. That's where I'm going to draw the line. Well, they escaped Xenu's volcano, so SCOTUS should be a piece of cake. You know what? That piece of cake is scary. I'm not sure I'm going to like how that is. The crumb of that cake is got me worried, Aaron. It has me worried. Oh, Jack, me too. It's so much, but there's plenty to it. There's right now quite a few civil cases, and I guess the legal part of it, if you're interested on that, the legal thing is that SCOTUS is actually not SCOTUS, but Scientology is actually fighting out and coming out and letting themselves be named, and actually, instead of trying to separate the issue, they're actually fighting as a church right now, as their church standing and fighting for their doctrine in Supreme Court, about this. And it involves a criminal case with Danny Masterson, which is a sexual assault cases about with some statute of limitations issues in this doctrine that they here's the hook. Must mention it again, that the reason this is all going as far as it is Scientology made a mistake. They put the contract in as evidence in the Masterson case, and then the civil cases were allowed to use it everywhere to say that they were being held and harassed against their will, this statute of limitations time, because they weren't allowed to actually come forward and press charges on Danny Masterson because of what they called arbitration within the church. Not even after they were harassed, ridiculed, in all kinds of stuff, trying to prevent them from, even after they left the church, filing charges on Danny Masterson. And the same thing in the Bixler case, that actually involves child labor. And they all left, and they also were harassed beyond reason and tried to be forced into not mentioning what happened to them or filing any type of law case, because they were supposed to only handle it inside the church, even though they're no longer a part of the church. They're only supposed to handle everything inside the church. And actually, Scientology introduced that arbitration clause in as evidence, and then got upset when it was used against them by the prosecution as to why they are named in the suit. Strongly. Yeah. Sorry, not sorry about that one. That was fun to report on. So they've actually brought this all to a head, and they're trying their best to use it to the best of their, try to turn it to be better for them by actually making it a First Amendment kind of thing, which it's not. Mm-hmm. The free exercise thereof. Yes, free exercise. The free exercise of religion thereof. And yep, but not outside the law. I agree. I don't have a final on that, Aaron and Juju B. I don't think they have slated it. They went on, it was brought up in March, I believe. It was out there. It's been out there. The actual the lower states Supreme Court actually handled it in January. And then by March, I want to say, they actually brought it to the federal Supreme Court, to SCOTUS. Okay. they brought it there. We haven't heard anything about it. We've heard a lot. But they were busy, Aaron. Come on. They were busy taking people's rights away and allowing guns to run amok. I mean, they've been busy making messes everywhere else. Hey, I love the law, but SCOTUS is really annoying me right now. Sorry. Not sorry. But anyway, I'm going to look into that and find out if they've actually agreed. I don't think they have. That's why people are filing amicus briefs, trying to get them to hear it. An amicus brief also points to the issues that they want them to focus on, that they think that they should introduce into the case, that actually speaks to why they should hear it and get involved and try to weigh in on whether the lower Supreme Court was right or not in their judgment. Because really, that's all it is. They got to look at what the other court did to say whether they applied law appropriately. And I really think they did. I think they went out of their way to be courteous to the issue and to actually lay it out, that they weren't talking about the organization in itself as the members of the religion. They are actually applying it to the ex-members only, and their freedom to walk away and not have to do that. Okay. And that's the issue there. It really is. Yeah, Going Clear is a documentary about Scientology. You know what, Jack? If you're actually, for all of those that aren't familiar with anything going on with Scientology, there are a few things that I could tell you. There are a lot of ex-Scientologies out there that give you their view on everything that's going on. There's a lot of documentaries. Of course, I'm going to recommend Leah Remini and Mike Rinder, who just started their podcast again. And they help people coming out. They tell the true story. They have been involved in the legal fights. Well, they kind of do a foul play kind of thing for the Scientologists that you guys are doing for the wrongfully convicted. They are all in, hands in. I would recommend that podcast. They've both been involved. Mike Rindler was involved up to his eyeballs in Scientology. He was a bad guy in Scientology, and he admits it. And he's out now, and he's got the true story. I'm going to believe the bad guy. When the bad guy tells you that this is how bad it was, it probably was that bad. Okay. He was an active participant for a long time. And he says it was because of himself. He's not going to blame it like, I was hypnotized. I just did. No, he had the wrong view, and he's changed it. And now he's owning it, and he's doing the best he can to help people that are still involved in it. I got to give him a lot of credit for that, because he's not a saint, and he admits he's not a saint. Leah Remini, she was in it from child. She didn't have a choice. Her family was in it already. She comes from a different view of it. Excellent podcasts, excellent documentaries, excellent stories. A journalist, a writer, Tony Ortega. He's linked below. Check him out. You can actually find legal documents all involved by following him and signing up with him that can help you with all the cases. He's still following this every day. I've actually am in contact with a couple of ex-Scientologists now, and I'll be bringing some to my channel too, because I think it needs to be talked about right now. If they're going to bring it to the court, if they're going to actually make it a focus, we get to talk about it even more. I'm not going to say it's out of realm anymore, Yeah. Yes, Karen De La Kier, the ex-Sea Org member. Yes, Liam, excellent recommendation. Guys, hit me up in my DMs. Those of you that are in my Discord, if you want links, let me know. I'll put them in the room, and that. But I do plan on doing a little bit more on it. It's an interesting topic. I always did focus on cults prior to legal. With my legal, I did NXIVM. All the way through the legal trial, through the whole thing, did the breakdown afterwards. That took years. I'm going to stay with Scientology for a while. This isn't the last I'll be talking about it. I hope I won't be talking ad nauseum, but they do give me a lot to talk about. They are a hot mess. Okay. And there's a lot there. There's a reason there's apparently more ex-Scientologists than Scientologists these days. And I don't say that loosely. It's true. There's a reason the whole thing's falling apart. And I don't think it's from the outside. I don't think it's from the inside. Well, yeah. We have to dive into it more to find out. Yep. So if there's not any more questions, I think that's my hour 15. But let me see. Nice comment here from my friend. Scientology always pushes their people to get to the top tier level, but they never can, because once they get close, they change all the materials and then they have to start all over again. That true statement, true story. If you read about how people progress through Scientology, what Kim has just said there, always grateful, that is absolutely true. No, very few people have gotten to the top. Of course, when you read what the top is about, you'll kind of understand why. It would be pretty hard for you to get to the top and then prove that you got to the top based on what happens. But I'll leave that for another expose on Scientology. Maybe we'll get into the nuts and bolts with someone, preferably an ex-Scientologist who's been there and could speak more on it than I can, you know. Yep. I like to think I'm fairly laid back and accepting of people and a Brit, but I feel like I would fight to keep state and religion separate. Yes, Martin, and that is the best way. That's the best way for religion too, to not be involved so that they're not judged, because there's more than one religion, right? We don't want them involved in state because it would constantly change too much based on everybody's different religion. And it's for the protection of religion too, for the practice of religion with freedom, that the state does not involve too much. But that's not the case, right? Particularly at this moment, it's about ex-members, which means religion shouldn't even be part of it. Yeah. And I appreciate your comment, Martin. Thank you. Just Rhonda says, in her opinion, once an organized religion holds you to an unbreakable contract, it can no longer be considered a religion. Rhonda, like, same page. Same page, especially when they're asking you to break the law to do it. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That seems like an unenforceable contract. I love my legal people here. Yes, common sense, right? Contract law 101 can't be illegal. Oh, it's not there. What if your next life you're born into Christianity? I wonder. I'm only seeing petitions as of late July, and they're not back in session until October, so we'll have to see then. Exactly. Yep. Thank you, Aaron. I always count on Aaron. Is one of the best researchers out there. If he says it in the chat, he just looked it up. Believe me, he found it, and he doesn't go to just one source either. So I find my way out of... Is that an organization once? But if I'm reincarnated, that shows insanity is false. Oh, okay. Oh, I think you mean insanity. Okay. True. I can go with that. And Juju was over Googling it too, and she couldn't find where they officially accepted it. That's true. I don't mean they officially, SCOTUS has actually officially accepted it yet. I'm wondering how they're going to weigh in on it if they do. They don't have to accept it. You're right. There has been no official determination that they will be actually putting out an opinion on it. You're right, Juju. Absolutely. So let me be clear. I haven't stated that they actually said they're going to, because we have no documentation that says that yet. We have documentation of everything that's been submitted to the Supreme Court for review. But whether or not they have chosen to actually accept it and go on a motion for it has not been stated. So we'll be clear on that. And thank you, Juju, because we want to be really clear about that. I'm not saying, any day now they're going to do it. I'm saying when they come back from their hiatus, they're off for the summer, they get their break, and they come back, maybe we'll hear more about it on whether they will or they won't. Okay. And then we'll know more. Okay. So I'm glad you guys are clearing that up, because I don't want anybody, I won't want to give anybody a misconception about it. But the filings for them to consider are all there. Okay. Yes, Scientology has filed. Yes, amicus briefs have been filed on their behalf by other parties, third parties, to support it. So yeah, they are getting pressured. They are getting pressured to look at it. And there's a very good chance that they do. And if they do, as I said before, everything I said, I still stand behind. I want them to actually take the law into, like, you are the law. Look at it as the law. And that even means that there's no legal issue there. that they could say no, they don't even want to look at it because they don't feel that there's a legal issue there, that whatever. They could even just put a one-liner that says that it was already handled. They could actually walk away from it and say there's no additional issue to handle. It's already been handled by the lower court, and then we don't need to do anything. They could do that too. They could, or they could give an opinion on it, which is what I fear, and what that opinion may say, But hey, we'll see you later, Spooky. Thank you for stopping in. Yeah. I don't know, Turtle Moves. We don't know for sure whether they will or they won't because, they haven't even said whether they have accepted it yet. Okay. Okay. Oh, there's so many good comments here, guys. And I see that most of you absolutely agree about people being free to leave. And I also agree about leaving an organization and not being held to the laws once they do. And this is the part about the training that Aaron is referring to that always was talking about. Before they reveal the Xenu story, they surprise you by literally making you start all the way over in your training and buy all new materials. It's like a financial scheme. It's kind of like one of those ladder things, like an MLN, you got to bring people in. You start at the bottom. You got to pay all the way up, Yes, Robski. Nice. Yeah. You're cracking me up. And hello, sir. Hello, sir. I hope you're having a good day. All right. On that, okay. 5 minutes ago, I said I was ending. Yeah, I'm long-winded today because actually these topics were all quite enjoyable for me. And again, shout out to the crew from Foul Play. Thanks for hanging out as long as you did, guys. I hope you had a good time. I always have a good time over at your channel. So check them out if you want to know more about Avery and the Kathleen Zelhner filing. Go in greater detail. We will be covering more about this case with Scientology. It's on the roster. There's several civil cases and a criminal case. It's going to keep coming up. But we are going to watch and see what school is, if they weigh in, and when they weigh in, how they weigh in, if and when they weigh in, and what they do about it. Anything that they're going to do about it, we're going to want to know, because the fact that it's even up there unnerves me a bit. I don't know about you guys, but the fact that it's even being presented up there unnerves me a little bit. I'll tell you that. I'm also going to get greater detail on Waiters for you. For those of you that had asked more about that case. And I think I'll write Whitey Bulger down for a post-case documentary like you guys kind of like once in a while. I don't know when, but we'll be looking into it. As always, you know how to reach me. DMs are open. Don't forget to like, share, comment on the video, do what you got to do. And if you aren't already a subscriber, do me the solid. You're listening anyway. Like, more of you listen to me than bother to subscribe to me. Why not? I'm a likable bear. Hit the damn button. Don't be lazy. You know you like it. You want to know when I come back. Go ahead and do it. I'll stick you all. We'll be back next week with legal. Well, Thursday I have an AIT schedule with the unparable Aaron Reese and my friend Charlie Welsh. That should be quite entertaining because they are quite entertaining. And I'm not telling you the rest of the week because I'm still in the process, but there should be more. On that, I'm going to say goodnight. And everybody have a great day, evening, and we'll see you soon. Bye.